សមាជិកគណៈបក្សសង្គ្រោះជាតិប្រាជ្ញាបេរៀនសាមគ្គីក្រុមនានាសង្គ្រោះបម្រើការពារកម្ពុជាខ្មែរព្រមគ្រប់គ្នាទាមទារសិទ្ធិសេរីឯករាជ្យបូរណភាពអធិបតេយ្យខ្មែរបស្រីបដូរផ្ដាច់ថែរក្សាមិនឲ្យបរទេសឈ្លានពានមកត្រួតត្រាសម្បត្តិដូនតាធនធានជាតិខ្មែរ
Hello and good evening. Welcome to our show. Welcome to Khmer Youth Voices for Justice. This is part of the CNRP America live show. My name is Linda. I am broadcasting live from Los Angeles, California. Again, thank you for joining our show. And also thank you for continue to support our petitions at change.org. A couple weeks ago, we reached a milestone, which we reached more than 100,000 signatures. Thank you so much for everyone that have signed and share, and also share the petitions and teaching people how to sign the petitions. Please, but we still need your help. We still need at least 500,000 signatures. Please join me to support ending impunity for justice in Cambodia at change.org. A worldwide campaign to find justice for victims of Cambodian state-backed killing. Together, we will hold Hun Sen and his ally responsible for continue to kill and hurt Cambodians. Please help to support our petitions at change.org. Again, ending impunity for justice in Cambodia. I have a short video clip by Her Excellency Musakur that explain and also basically explain and also telling us what is the next step regarding the signature that we collect. So please watch her video and please go to change.org to support our petition. Thank you.
តើយុត្តិធម៌ឬនីតិរដ្ឋភាព
Between 1975 and 1979, the green rice fields of Cambodia became the killing fields of Cambodia. Over 2 million lives were lost, including the lives of my own parents and many of my relatives. The Khmer Rouge wanted a society that is equal according to them. We still live and we are haunted with the legacy of the Khmer Rouge, which is the culture of impunity that continues to exist in Cambodia today. It is for this reason that we have started a campaign, worldwide campaign, a campaign to end impunity in Cambodia by seeking justice for cases, for the executions, for the killings that are organized, that are backed by the state. Among those cases of state-backed killings are the killings of Chivichir, a very famous trade union leader, Bisep Pilaka, a ballet dancer, of Kemley, an independent analyst, of Chutvuti, a well-known environmentalist, of Venerable Sun Bunthun, who was advocating for the monks to have the right to vote, including workers who demanded fair wages. The campaign will also advocate for governments that are members of the United Nations to put pressure on the government of Cambodia to conduct independent investigations by using universal tools such as the UN Protocol for Independent Investigation. The campaign will also advocate for governments that believe and want to protect universal human rights to impose sanctions on the leaders of the government of Cambodia who are implicated in these state-backed extrajudicial killings. We ask you to be with us, to support us, to be part of a campaign to end the culture of impunity in Cambodia and to find justice for those who have been waiting for justice for their loved ones killed by the state. There cannot be real peace unless there is justice. There cannot be justice unless there is independent investigation. And then to take those cases to an independent justice system. Join us by signing on this petition. Thank you.
យើងរួមគ្នាបញ្ចប់នីតិរដ្ឋភាពដើម្បីយុត្តិធម៌នៅកម្ពុជា
Welcome back and thank you for joining our show again. This is Khmer Youth Voices for Justice. This is part of the CNRP America live show. I want to remind our audience the purpose of this show tonight is to bring awareness to the awful political situations in Cambodia. Our guest tonight, which we have two guests, will help us to understand, and actually I would like to listen and understand from their perspective so that way we can be better informed and also better equipped to do our part to help out Cambodia. Anything we would like to, I would like to bring my guests out. I have two guests. They've been here before. They are very kind, and also they give up their time to be in this show. So I appreciate that. My first guest, her name is Sita Arunson. She is the CNRPA supporter in California. Let me bring her out. Jim Hiệp Su Bong.
Linda.
How are you?
I'm good. How about you?
I'm good. Thank you. Thank you for being here again, Bong.
No problem. Glad to be here.
Yeah, thank you. We have a lot to talk about today. So I'm gonna bring Kathy out, and then we'll do some current event, and we'll go into our topic. Thank you, Bong. Hi, Kathy. Jim Hiệp Su.
Jim Hiệp Su.
Kathy Dow, she is the CNRPA supporter in Calgary, Canada. How are you doing, Kathy?
I'm doing good. How about you this evening?
I'm good, thank you. Thank you for being here.
Oh, thanks for having me again.
Calgary is in Canada, so let me chit chat with you. I mean, Bong Sita is in California, like I am. So I kind of know the situation in California already. So how is Canada? How's the COVID situation in Canada?
It's pretty good right now. Our premier, Jason Kenney, he lifted up the mask rule, so we don't need to wear masks anymore unless it's like certain place, like where I work, like a medical clinic or the pharmacy, then you definitely do. But since with the no mask policy, there has been a little rise of COVID, but it's not as terrible as we thought. It's minor, so it's still pretty good.
Do you get both of your vaccine shot?
I did. I got my second one done in June, so I'm fully vaccinated, and everyone in my house here, they're fully vaccinated as well.
Good. And how is Canada? There's a lot of people anti-vaccination, or are they all in for it?
There are definitely some anti-vaxxers out there. I've received, a couple of phone calls saying like, I don't want to get my vaccine, but the majority of Canada is fully vaccinated. So I'm pretty happy with that. But, dealing with like anti-vaxxers, it is a little difficult to get them on board.
I'm not sure, you in medical field, right?
Yes, I am.
So how's the medical field? Have you been busy, or has it been swamped, or what?
Yeah, so far it's been busy. The clinic I work at, we have 2 doctors. However, one of the doctors on vacation, so everybody's just like, I want to see the doctor, but you know, he's gone and away for 3 weeks, and it's been swamped. It's been crazy.
So do you so it's face-to-face visit now, right? It's not just online virtual visit anymore.
No, we never had online virtual. We always had like a phone consultation where like the doctor gives them a call or that's about it. But like now we unlock our doors, we have walk-ins coming in again. So it's been pretty good.
Does Canada open up the restaurant, open up the theater and everything? And you said that people are not required to wear masks anymore.
Yeah, definitely. So going to the movie theaters or going shopping, grocery shopping or anything like that, you don't need to wear a mask anymore. But just in like certain occasions, if it gets too crowded, then that's when I would just put my mask on.
Just for your own protections, but not you wasn't forced.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, Kathy, for sharing the experience in Canada. I haven't been to Canada for a long time. I mean, I guess I don't think anybody ever. I have been into Canada for a while now. I think they opened the border up, but it's been over a year and a half. So it's been a while.
It has been a while, I bet. Yeah, come up to Alberta. We'll take you on a tour around.
Thank you for the offer, Kathy.
No worries,
I would
anytime.
love to be there. Let me bring Bong Sita back in. Hi, Bong. Let me ask, I didn't get to ask you, so how is COVID in California where you live?
The case has been rising up a little bit, just a little bit more these past couple weeks. Even we have seen cases of people who had both vaccine but contract the Delta variant COVID. So we don't know what's going on. You know, we don't fully understand what's going on as much yet for the Delta from what I heard about the news and stuff. But it's not a lockdown again. It's just everybody being precaution. Still wearing masks at work, out and about. I think that's lift as well. But I work in a clinic as well. They mandate to wear a mask, surgical mask.
I've been in news in America. I mean, we are living in America, except Kathy, she's in Canada. Does your company mandate that everyone get vaccinated?
Yes, at my company, I think it's a CDC for California. I think it's for by September 30th. If you're not fully vaccinated, they will not let you come to work physically.
Is it in medical surrounding or any company? Do you know?
From what I heard, it's a CDC guideline for medical clinic, hospitals, you know, where public servant, frontline kind of thing.
I read about it, like the people that work for the government, people work in the government office, and also people that work in medical field required to get vaccinated. I work for a small private company. I have not heard that yet, but I know we did. They did request for us to send them the vaccination card to verify that, make sure that we vaccinate. So I was not. But at the same time, I was not paying attention that it's affecting small company. So I work for a small company, but they just want to know your vaccination status. But I know there are people that's not vaccinated due to whatever belief that they believe in. Some of people that in my company, they not agree with it. They don't think they should be vaccinated against their will. So, since both of you work for a medical clinic, should people get vaccinated, Mom, Sita?
It's not just about for yourself. It's about the health of others as well. if you're not vaccinated, you can, and if you're healthy, you might carry the virus, and you don't get sick, but you carry the virus to those who are vulnerable, which is the elderly, the one with a lot of medical underlying problem, and give it to them. And could be your loved one, could be anybody you come in contact. You know, it's not about just your right or what you want or not want. It's about other people's life, depend on it. So yeah, that's, I don't, and plus we haven't hear any news about people who get vaccinated and die from it. You know, some of them get ill, seriously ill and things like that, but very few, just like the flu shot. A lot of people get ill each year from flu shot as well. So yeah, so that's just my thought.
Thank you, Bong. How about you, Kathy? So should people go get vaccinated?
Yeah, I do encourage people to do get their vaccination, because it is like, you know, saving other people's lives and your lives as well. So it is a good extra layer of protection in your body. Like you don't know if you could contract like the new Delta virus or, you know, another strain of COVID, but like giving it to someone else, they could have like a even like more worse symptom than what I could have right now. So it's like saving, you know, your life and other lives together, and you don't need to like cause more chaos, more COVID spreading around, or the Delta virus.
Thank you, Bong, Sita, and thank you, Kathy. Yes, I cannot. Every time I'm here, I'm always encourage people, please go get your vaccination. I'm not sure in Canada, but in America, they do not check your immigration status. You can be living in America and without documentations, that's what they call it, without documentations, and you still can walk into any locations, any clinic, and the vaccine is there for you. They do not ask you, they do not ask you to pay, and it's free. And really, we just need you to be there and get vaccinated. So that way, it's not just you, it's also, like Bong Sita said, it's for the elderly that around you, people that have weak immune system, that's what they call it, weak immune system that easily getting the virus from just, and also many people is what we call systematic, where they have symptom and where they don't feel the symptom, and then and people just walking around with the virus. So thank you both guests for helping me out today. I appreciate it. Every time I'm here, I'm encourage people, please go get vaccinated. Let me start the show by I have not given the topic to the show. Welcome everyone to Khmer Youth Voices for Justice. Today is Tuesday, August 24th, 2021, and our topic is development versus human rights. We will talking about the development in Cambodia, what we call all these, we are sitting here, we are all for building, nice lakes and nice forests and all that, but it's in reality, our forests are, the deforestation is really a big problem. Our lakes and pond are being filled with sand, and it actually it's not just lake and pond, ocean as well. And also land grabbing is a very serious situation. So we are going to talk about that and how it's affect on people, basically Cambodian people that live in Cambodia. So that's what we are going to talk about today. Before we go into that, I want to share pictures. Let me see if I can find it. So this is the third week that the civil society group campaign called for the release of 6 environmentalists. In the third week, so this is the third week, so NGO and civil society group are campaigning on Facebook, to demand the release of environmental activists, six people to be free. Civil society feared that if the court convict the 6 young men, their rights and freedom and environmental protections activity in Cambodia will be affected. Since, like I said, this is the 3rd week. So since 2020, the Phnom Penh regime has arrested more than 80 political, social, human rights, environmental teachers and critic activists and then imprisoning them. So basically, the exercise of basic right is being denial. International Human Rights Group and UN Human Rights Express and call the crackdown illegally. So they demand that the Phnom Penh regime release all activists unconditionally and stop human rights abuse in Cambodia. Let me show a picture. Let me see a better picture of the youth activists. So most of them are what we call from a NGO called Mother Nature. If our audience is not very familiar with what they do or what they did to basically they spread awareness regarding the environment. So I want to share a video of them telling people to how to protect the environment, how to save the environment.
The IRC has been working in Afghanistan for
រយៈពេលជាង20ឆ្នាំកន្លងមកនេះប្រជាជនកម្ពុជាកំពុងតែក្លាយទៅជាជាតិសាសន៍មួយដែលរស់នៅដោយខ្វះផ្លាស្ទិកមិនបានជាឧទាហរណ៍ជាក់ស្ដែងតាមការសិក្សាស្រាវជ្រាវបានបង្ហាញថានៅក្នុងទីក្រុងភ្នំពេញការប្រើប្រាស់ថង់ផ្លាស្ទិកមានរហូតដល់10លានថង់ក្នុងមួយថ្ងៃដែលស្មើនឹង3600លានថង់ក្នុងមួយឆ្នាំបើប្រៀបធៀបទៅនឹងប្រទេសចិននិងអឺរ៉ុបប្រជាជនកម្ពុជាប្រើប្រាស់ថង់ផ្លាស្ទិកច្រើនជាងគេរហូតទៅដល់10ដងក្រៅពីវិបត្តិនៃថង់ផ្លាស្ទិកទាំងនេះនៅមានវិបត្តិនៃផ្លាស្ទិកជាច្រើនទៀតដែលនឹងបង្ហាញនៅក្នុងវីដេអូមួយនេះតើមានអ្វីកើតឡើងទៅលើផ្លាស្ទិកដែលយើងបានប្រើប្រាស់រួចភាគច្រើននៃផ្លាស្ទិកទាំងនោះនឹងរសាត់ទៅគ្រប់ទីកន្លែងដូចជាគំនរសម្រាមឆ្នេរសមុទ្រប្រឡាយនិងលូជាដើមហើយផ្លាស្ទិកទាំងនោះនឹងមិនរលាយទោះត្រូវចំណាយពេលរាប់រយឆ្នាំក៏ដោយប្រសិនបើសម្រាមទាំងនោះត្រូវបានដុតវានឹងបញ្ចេញនៅសារធាតុគីមីដែលធ្វើឲ្យប៉ះពាល់យ៉ាងខ្លាំងទៅដល់សុខភាពជាពិសេសគឺផ្លូវដង្ហើមតែយើងគួរបន្តទៅលើអ្នកណាដែលបណ្ដាលឲ្យបញ្ហានេះកើតឡើងកាន់តែធំឡើងពីមួយថ្ងៃទៅមួយថ្ងៃខ្ញុំខ្លួនឯងផ្ទាល់ក៏ជាអ្នកដែលញៀនទៅនឹងការប្រើប្រាស់ផ្លាស្ទិកដែរខ្ញុំពិតជាមិនចង់ឃើញកូនចៅជំនាន់ក្រោយរបស់ខ្ញុំក៏ដូចជាប្រទេសទាំងមូលត្រូវលិចលង់នៅក្នុងសមុទ្រសម្រាមផ្លាស្ទិកនោះទេដូច្នេះហើយទើបខ្ញុំចាប់ផ្ដើមអនុវត្តនៅទម្លាប់ងាយៗ5យ៉ាងដែលខ្ញុំជឿថាវាអាចជួយកាត់បន្ថយការប្រើប្រាស់ផ្លាស្ទិកបានប្រសិនបើអ្នកជាអ្នកដែលចូលចិត្តញ៉ាំកាហ្វេឬភេសជ្ជៈផ្សេងៗអ្នកគួរតែយកកៅបែបនេះដាក់តាមខ្លួនដូចដែលខ្ញុំបានធ្វើកន្លងមកឈប់ប្រើប្រាស់ទុយោផ្លាស្ទិកដែលងាកមកប្រើបំពង់ទុយោដែលផលិតពីអ៊ីណុកឬសីនិងវត្ថុដែលផលិតពីធម្មជាតិផ្សេងៗបងបាយដាក់ថង់ឯណាកូនបងឈប់ប្រើប្រាស់ថង់ផ្លាស្ទិករាល់ពេលដែលទិញទំនិញដែលងាកមកប្រើថង់ដែលផលិតចេញពីធម្មជាតិឬថង់ក្រណាត់បែបនេះឬក៏លោកអ្នកអាចដាក់ទំនិញទាំងនោះនៅក្នុងកាតាបរបស់អ្នកបានផងដែររាល់ពេលដែលលោកអ្នកត្រូវការខ្ចប់អាហារទៅទីឆ្ងាយម្ដងអ្នកគួរតែដាក់ប្រអប់បាយនិងស្លាបព្រាតាមខ្លួនបែបនេះឬលោកអ្នកអាចប្រើប្រអប់ដែលធ្វើពីរុក្ខជាតិដែលវាអាចរលាយបានលឿនបង្ហាញការបដិញ្ញារបស់អ្នកក្នុងការកាត់បន្ថយការប្រើប្រាស់ផ្លាស្ទិកទៅក្នុងបណ្ដាញសង្គមហើយជំរុញឲ្យមិត្តភ័ក្តិនិងក្រុមគ្រួសាររបស់អ្នកចាប់ផ្ដើមអនុវត្តនូវទម្លាប់ងាយៗទាំងនេះអរគុណសម្រាប់ការទស្សនានៅវីដេអូមួយនេះកុំភ្លេចចែករំលែកនៅវីដេអូនេះទៅឲ្យមិត្តភ័ក្តិរបស់អ្នកបានឃើញហើយត្រូវចងចាំថាកាលពីមុនខ្ញុំក៏ជាអ្នកដែលញៀនទៅនឹងការប្រើប្រាស់ផ្លាស្ទិកដូចគ្នាប៉ុន្តែពេលនេះខ្ញុំអាចធ្វើបានចុះអ្នកវិញ
ពេញក្រុងល្អ
Kathy, do you see anything wrong with that?
The landfill. Oh my goodness. That is huge. That it's bigger than like the landfill I have here in Calgary. I'm pretty shocked that that Cambodia uses so much plastic.
Yes,
Oh
but
my
do
gosh.
you she's actually the lady that just basically she's a young lady. She's actually in jail right now, and for what she's encouraging people to do, and people feel that the regime feel that threatening them, inciting them. So let me show that picture. Hold on. That's one of the picture. They're still in jail, and they are the NGO and civil society group are campaigning for their release. And you see the matter, that's who she is. She just on camera basically telling us to use less plastic, and that's the regime. That's what we're talking about, the environmental effect of people that speak out and speak their mind. And basically when they say that it's must have touched somebody somewhere that they don't agree, and she is currently in jail, and people are asking for her to be released.
Linda, can I add?
Yes, please.
I think she got arrested not like shortly after that video was released. I saw the video, and then lots of other people saw the video, and maybe a few weeks after that, she got arrested. And what's the disgusting about it is that if she were somewhere else around the world, if she lived somewhere around the world, action like that would be encouraged, especially from the young people, like what she stands for, and encourage people to do good things for the environment. She would get sponsors, she would get, praise. But in Cambodia, just the opposite. They cannot handle good. They cannot handle what is good, or maybe they think it's a criticism to their government or something. We don't understand their logic, but it just does not make any sense.
Yes, according to I went to their website, Mother Nature, and also many different NGO. They said since 2020, the regime has arrested political, social, human rights, environmental teachers and critics who just voicing what's going on in Cambodia, and they are in jail. So the UN human rights and many NGO, I think over 100 total, over 140 of them is currently asking the regime to release them, and they are campaigning on Facebook. This is their third week. Let me put their face up so everybody can see. That's the six of the what they call their group is 6 Mother Nature youth charges of inciting, committing crimes, including conspiracy to commit treason and insulting the king. So that's what their charges. Let's go. This just a little warm up, because we're going to talk about more about environmental, and also we're going to talk about human rights today. I have a video that actually going to describe what I want our audience that may be watching this show for the first time to realize that Cambodia, it's over 40 years came out from the war. And also there's a lot of development, and we all welcome development, but at the same time, if that development is affecting the livelihood of the Cambodian people, then the regime should consider and also should listen to NGO or civil society that recommend what recommendations that's good for the country. This one is a good example of Chinese influence in Cambodia. So I'm gonna play the video and then we'll watch it and then we'll see the impact of how not listening to NGO, not listening to civil society recommendations, and it's have not gone away. The issue is still there. So I want to play the video and then my guest and I will talk about that.
So this entire area, top of what used to be Shreko village, it was completely flooded after the lower Sesan-Du Dam was completed in 2017. The lower Sesan-2 Dam is one of the widest dams in Asia. The project is part of the Chinese government's Mammoth Belt and Road Initiative, an investment and infrastructure project that the government began in 2013 to advance Chinese foreign policy interests globally. Flooding of the dam's reservoir inundated numerous communities and damaged the ecology of the region. In addition, about 5,000 people, mostly indigenous or ethnic minorities, lost their homes. Most of the villagers didn't have appropriate compensation. Some who were relocated but now live in an area quite far from here and pretty disappointed about what happened to their village. Much of the damage and devastation the dam would bring was known before it was built, and locals voiced their concerns even then.
ការរុះរើផ្ទះសម្បែងគោក្របីជ្រូកមាន់ជួបការលំបាកនឹងស្ថានភាពដីស្រែមន្ទីរពេទ្យសាលារៀននិងទន្លេខ្សែពុកខ្ញុំព្រួយអារម្មណ៍ណាស់រឿងនេះខ្ញុំស្ដាយដីភ្លីខ្ញុំមិនចង់ចោលទេព្រោះស្ដាយផ្ទះសម្បែងរាប់លានហើយដូងស្វាយមានទាំងអស់បើថានៅដីថ្មីទៀតមានដូងមានស្វាយ
Many of those displaced were moved to areas that lacked clean water and the soil was not well suited for farming. They received inadequate compensation for the loss of their homes or income. Tens of thousands whose livelihoods depended on fishing on the rivers around the dam suffered enormous losses in income. នៅភូមិថ្មីនេះបើសម្រាប់គ្រួសារខ្ញុំដូចជាគ្មានចំណូលអីវាតិចជាងនៅភូមិចាស់ជាកសិករទេក៏ប៉ុន្តែការងារវាជារឿងធម្មតាជាការប្រកបមុខរបរនេសាទណារួមផ្សំជាមួយកសិករធ្វើខ្សែដូចការនោះចង់និយាយថាអ៊ីតាលីក៏វាឆ្ងាយអ្វីដូចនៅភូមិចាស់គាត់ដឹងហើយស្រាប់ហើយថាខ្ញុំផ្ទះខ្ញុំនៅជាប់ទន្លេ The dam has decimated the fish population in a country where fish makes up 60 to 75% of the protein of the Cambodian diet. So we're in a village on the Shrikor River. Some villagers said they used to catch up to 40 kilos of fish a night. Now they sometimes struggle to get 10, often less than that. The fish are also smaller and fetch less money, sometimes only $1 a kilo, and they're struggling to survive. The companies involved in the lower Sesan-2 project, as well as the Cambodian and Chinese governments that authorized the project, should review the project's impact urgently and allocate significant new resources to remedy the harms they have caused. As the Chinese government finances other Belt and Road projects, whether in Cambodia or elsewhere, government and company officials need to take far greater steps to protect the human rights of affected communities and compensate them when they're harmed.
that was that's over 3 minutes of the video, but the Human Rights Watch actually put together 137 pages of the documents because it's affecting economic, social, and cultural rights, which is it's a violations that from that result. And I'm not sure you catch it. It's like nearly 5,000 people whose family have affected that they live around the areas, and it's sad. Even though when we listen to the video, and also I read some of the report, it clearly said that it's impacting since before it's built, but the regime is not listening. So it's going into our topic today. We welcome development. At the same time, if that development is affecting people's life, like in this case, there are 5,000 people. I don't see the benefit of that. And also, I'm not sure where you live, Kathy, but over here, before they build anything, they did a study. They actually do a study and see the impact rate. They have people coming out to, for example, if they're going to build road in front of my house, they will have people come and take photo, people come and take traffic, how traffic flow, and then they decide if they're going to put, for example, if in front of my house need a street light, or a certain street that need a street light. And that's how people in America do. They study and there's the impact of that, and is it benefit, how is the new development is gonna benefit the people or not. And in this case, it's clearly showed that it's not benefiting the people since even before it built. And now that it's built, over 5,000 people, that's their life affected. Sita, do you have anything to add to the video, or you want to have anything regarding human rights? Why is it important? I know human rights, you have the right to live peacefully. You have the right to live, you have the right to live in a land that you can be proud of, and also can be what it call peacefully.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, since you talk about human rights, Cambodian Constitution, I want to bring up a little bit. Cambodian Constitution of 1993, Article 59. It says ownership of natural resource, state shall protect the environment and balance of the natural resource and establish a precise plan for management of land, water, airspace, wind, geology, ecological system, mines, oil, gas, rock, sand, gem forest, forestry product, wildlife, fish, aquatic resource, and clearly the development of the dam against the Constitution, Article 59. And we're not even talking about human rights, how it affects human. This is just the environmental effect of the environment. And go back to what you mentioned earlier, that in America, when they want to develop something, where I used to participate, close to where I live, they want to build a gas station, and they ask environmental people come and study. And then after their study, they present it to the people who live around the area, the government, they present it to them. And then the people have the saying that, no, we don't want it in our neighborhood. And if the voice is big enough, they will hold back. And, they, of course, they have discussion about it, the pro and the con. And if it's major affect them, in a big way, in a negative big way, they will halt the project. But in the report, as we heard, before it built, they did have independent study, and it showed that it will have major impact on the environment and major impact on the people. But they went ahead and built it anyway, and misplaced the people, did not compensate it enough for them to restart their new life, and all the negative things. It's just one thing after another. Yeah, so it's not a good thing. Development, like you said earlier, it's part of human nature. We live, we grow, we evolve, but when development become a violate of human right, violation of natural resource, it's not a good thing.
I'm going to read a little bit. It said land is impact directly on the enjoyment of life. So for many people, land is a source of livelihood and is a central economic rise. So in this case, we removing 5,000 people from where they used to live and move them to environment where they live is close to water, where they live, that's how they make their income, that's how they support their family, and that's how they get dinner when they live close to the water. So now they move them to this dry land and just let them there where they don't have any source of income, any source of how to support themselves. And so it's not one-to-one. And can you add to that video, Kathy, and how you feel when you see that video? That's just one of the example of the development in Cambodia.
Yeah. So in the video, it just really shows how the regime does not care about Cambodians. They don't care if you live there. They will do whatever they want to make it their way. And it just struggles for me to see that every human needs like 3 or 4 basic needs: food, shelter, water. Yeah, food, shelter, work, and like all that. And like if the government and the regime is just taking that over, they're not giving any basic needs to every human. And when that comes to no having no money, no food, no shelter, what are we going to do? Like they could just die with no help, no nothing. So with that, the government, the regime, what they did is is so awful to those 5,000 family who's been there for so long. That's what they call their home. That's where they get everything they need, the resources. Like the fish in the video, it shows 60 to 75% of our protein. Since that's decreased, it just shows that we can't survive off of just plants. We need some sort of protein in our system.
Yes,
it's just awful to see how they can just do a development right there in just one little neighborhood and just cause a huge impact.
The major impact is on fish income. Like I said, many of them, probably their grandparents lived there, and then all they do would know how to fish. That's how fishermen, they live there and they pass down the trade to many generations. So according to the report, is by preventing numerous type of fish from completing migrations, it's vital to their reproductive process. It has resulted in steep decrease in fishery. So fishery and ecology experts have reported that the dam is contributing to decrease in fishery yield across the entire Mekong River system, in which tens of thousands of people in Cambodia rely on for food. And I'm not sure you've been to Cambodia, Kathy. I'm sure you've been to Cambodia.
Just once.
Yes, many sources of people live on fish. Fish is their main protein is fish. not many people have steak or have pork, but fish is the main food on the table. And to completely for the dam and to build the dam and not having them to reproductive process. And also that when we're talking about fish, we also talk about 5,000 people that their life forever changed because the regime is not considering, even though like Bong Sita said, like I said, if I need a street light in front of my house, they come and study, and they will study, and all the community can voice our opinion that we want a street light, and we will get the street light if more. And then this is the study will analyze, and they will report it that it will affect the people, and the dam still happen. So we are not talking about the building on that. We're just talking about development. Some development we welcome, some development like this one where it's affect 5,000 people, the regimes should reconsider, because the environmental impact and how people impact should be put into considerations.
If I may add,
Yes, you may.
I read recent report of from Human Rights. It says now that the dam's been going on for many years now. The effects not just the local 5,000 people, the effects now upstream where the water flow from, all the way to Thai, China, to all the way to Thai and Laos, and all the way and downstream all the way to Vietnam. So it affects, the whole ecology of the Mekong River. So it's the long-term effect. Right now, it's already show that those effects have a huge impact on people's life.
I think you're muted.
Thank you, Bong. Yes, according to the report, it's like 137 pages, and according to the report, between 2011 and 2018, citizens opposed to the project lodged complaint with the company, the government, Prime Minister Hun Sen, and elsewhere, but their concern was dismissed as the government refused to discuss alternative. It threatened and even jailed people who object to the project. So when earlier we talking about the activists, they were complaining about plastic. They were complaining about environment. And one of our guests, he talking about that it's rained last night, and it's heavy rain in Kampong Sam, and it's flooded. And I'm not sure, Bong Sita, have you heard about how often it's flooded in Cambodia?
Yeah, we've seen video. I think it's about every year. Floods a couple times each year, and when it's major, it's flood. And when it's flood, it's not just minor flood. It's flood the house, floods some place to the roof in the countryside. The life of cows and pigs. I think last year, the year before, like major floods. Many people died, and many livestock died. Just flow down the stream or wherever the floods affect many states in Cambodia. So each year, because of the poor sewage system and the poor development, since we're talking about development, it's the poor, how it's developed, it's not managing it correctly. So yeah, it's a bad situation. It's not a good thing. It's not just that now they closing, or not closing, but they put land, they what you call, they make land in, they make ocean into lands. They put dirt into ponds and rivers, so they can develop, you know, buildings and houses and things like that. And where would water go? They have no place to go. So of course it's gonna flood streets and landfill and things like that. So it's all about money, investment. Foreign investor come in and want to invest, and it's all about money, but those money don't go to the people, it go to the government, and the government probably don't even use those money for the, you know, for the being good, for goods, to do goods. It's just they're using those money for who knows. I don't know. It's just very complicated government system, and we don't see a good thing out of that government, that's for sure.
You touch on a good subject, Brown, regarding lake and pond that filled with sand. When I was young, I used to go to this place in Phnom Penh. It's called Bangkok. I'm sure you heard about it. I have memory. I don't swim, but I have memory riding like a duck boat onto the pond. I think I went back to Cambodia in 2000 and was looking for that pond, or for that lake. I'm thinking it's not a pond, but it's called Bangkok. Nowhere to be found. And it's amazing how, to me, it's amazing how a country that fill sand and have building on top of water. Kathy, you live in Canada, you're pretty young. Have you heard in Canada that people putting sand into pond and lake? But to me, I live in America like almost all my life. I never heard of that. I always heard people digging the ground to make water, so that way you can enjoy the environment.
In Canada, we do live in a prairie, so it's just all land around us. There's no sight of the ocean near us or anything. I'm pretty sure that we don't fill our lakes and rivers with sand and build buildings on top of it. I know that, like, since we do have like winter here, the only thing that we do with our lakes and everything is just like either we fill it back with water or we dump fish back into it. That's basically about it. We have no sands. The only sands we have is just on like little lakes where, you know, people can enjoy and relax.
Yes, like I said, it was amazing how it just gone. That Bangkok, it just gone. So if the next generation that's born like up to 2000, they probably don't know, like, what are we talking about? Yeah, it's a beautiful pond, a beautiful, like, you know, it's nature, and it's beautiful. It's no longer there, and I know that recently there's many lakes and many pond and also ocean that got sand, not just sand for you to walk on ocean, sand in the water, so that way they can build building complex, apartment complex, condo complex. And do we really need that many apartments? Do we really need that tall sky building in Phnom Penh, Sita?
There's too many already. I when I went to Cambodia in 2007, 2009, and 2010, I went 3 times. So congested in Phnom Penh. The pollution was bad. The traffic were really bad. You talking about like LA traffic, but over there, worse than LA traffic. You know, not too many cars. I mean, there's cars, there's motorcycle, but it's just so congested. And the building, there's so many buildings already, and that's why they expanding out to lakes and ocean. But the part that I'm against development of that sort is that they don't consider environmental effect. Like we said earlier, when they close out lakes, when it rain, and in Southeast Asia, we all know when it rain heavy, and then those water has to go somewhere, and those lakes are being closed out, fill up with land. Water don't have place to go. They don't run fast enough to go to ocean, and the sewage system is not proficient enough to carry all those water as fast as the rain. So, naturally, it would go to lakes and rivers, and then flow to the ocean. But now the lakes and the rivers are all closed, and now the ocean. Lately, we've been seeing ocean being filled up with sand, like you said earlier, Linda, to build a condo and stuff. So yeah, the environment in Cambodia is bad. It's really bad, and it seems like they don't listen to anybody beside themselves. And their investor. So they don't listen to environmentalists. They don't listen to sociologist study or anybody. They just, it's all about money and their investor. And that's not good. That's not good for the people, not good for the environment, not good for the country in general.
How you know anybody in Cambodia that live in one of those high-rise buildings, Sita?
No, I don't. I have family, but many of them live in older buildings or in the countryside, and they feel the impact by it too, even though they don't live in those high-rise buildings. They feel the impact. Like the fishery, they used to, send us fish, dry fish and stuff. Nowadays, it's just too expensive, and it's hard to find, and and cannot afford for them to send us any more of those dry fish anymore.
You got affected by this as well.
Yes, all the way over here. Yes. Yeah.
I do not know anybody who live in any of those high-rise buildings. So I know people are selling them, must have been selling them like hot cake. That's why the buildings keep popping up. So I'm assuming it's a really hot condo out there, and people must have enjoyed the view of building, because it's continue on to build in Kampong Sam, in Kampong, at the beach, and in the city. Those buildings just keep on rising, and there's no tree, and all the lake just filled with sand, and to build more building.
From what I heard, the one by the ocean, they build casinos and hotels, and for foreigners, mostly for foreigners, like for the Chinese investors who comes in and develop those places.
So what you're saying is Cambodian couldn't have been afford to live in the building anyway.
Yeah, no, not Cambodian people. Very few elite who's among the rich and the privileged. A common people, no, they cannot. They cannot afford it. They cannot. They just can't afford to live in those places.
Thank you, Bong. And when you're talking about the elite, let me remind everybody: please call your representative and have them support HR 4686. That is the Cambodian Democracy Act of 2021, and it will one of the point in that HR 4686 is it will sanction when we come bill when President Biden signed. It will sanction those elite, those people, so that way, and also free their asset where they have so much money from putting sand into the lake and build the building and cutting down tree and destroying environment in Cambodia. So I'm just off topic a little bit, but but I cannot help but to plug it in. So yes, Kathy, before we end the show, we all agree that we all for development, and we all for before we do anything, we need to study. In this case, in the video that we talk about, they did study and they did recommend it, that it's not good to build that dam. It's going to cost the environment, impact to the people, which is 5,000 people. And that is just one of the cases. There are many cases where the forest has been conserved and reserved, but actually people cutting down trees. So the deforestations and other locations, every time they put sand into the lake, every time they do like that, it's land grabbing, and people are begging. People are out there are asking for the regime to help solve the issue. And it's what it called chronic issue, where it's the same thing, same issue all over the country, where people are being pushed out of their land, and that land, and the excuse is that land is for development. So like we said, we welcome development, but when it's the people life, when we're talking about people life and how they affecting them and their family, we should not be developing anything.
Yes. I just think that you should consider, the humans first, then doing whatever you want. If you're planning to do some sort of development, think about the people first. Think about what resources they need, where they should relocate, what they've done before, somehow try to get closer to a new village with that, almost the same similarities, like with the rice field, with the streaming rivers, with fishes. But since with this dam, it's just going to be a long cause of harmness.
Thank you, Kathy, and thank you, Sita, for being here today. Like I said, we did watch a video of that dam, but that they built were affecting 5,000 people. But there's more issue. There's so many more issues regarding land grabbing, and that's actually according I was reading, it is affecting human rights. And it's when people are being forced to move from their land, it's a forced eviction, and millions of people in not million, thousands and thousands of people in Cambodia's result of being from that is being homeless, landless, or living in extreme poverty and destitution. So the regime think that they are compensating them, but it's not. Like people said, like when this video is clearly show, they are used to fishing. Their job, their grandparents, many generations, fishermen. And now you move them to a land where it's dry, but they cannot even fertilize that land. So it's affecting their livelihood, and they're affecting how their life is, and that's how it affects human rights. That's how our topic today. Sita, you want to add anything, before we end the show today?
Yes, just want to say this is not just development in Cambodia. This is also about foreign investor, mainly Chinese investor, who goes in Cambodia and sees the opportunity of Hun Sen government giving them a free pass to do whatever they want to do, and not just about development in Cambodia, but about the regional. Once they develop, they bring their people, and then they become colonized. Majority, a lot of them become the population of the country, and then it's gonna affect not just Cambodia, it's gonna affect the same in the neighbor country as well. So Cambodia is one major region, one important region that Chinese want to get a hold of, get a hand on, and a grip on, to control that region. And if it continue to let this thing go the way it is, Hun Sen continue to let let Chinese come in and invest, and like it has been the last 10 years or so, we might not get it back. You know, the Chinese will control that whole region, not just Cambodia. And that's the scary part. I don't want Cambodia people, Cambodia country to be under communists all over again. You know, I wish that the international community can help in some way to slow this down, to stop this process from going any further. That's my plea.
Thank you, Bong. Yes, it is true. The development is not slowing down, and I will send today we're talking about development. I didn't get a chance to talk about our white president. She is in Southeast Asia this week. I think one of the country that she is visiting is Vietnam. And on the agenda is talking to Vietnam regarding deforestation in Cambodia, basically illegal logging in Cambodia. And we all know that the forest is down, it's deforestation, and those wood is going somewhere. So those wood went back to Vietnam, and because Vietnam is the largest supplier of furniture. So I think that's one of the conversations that our Vice President going to be speaking also when she's in Hanoi. So I'm not sure where she's at right now. I read that she's going to be in Hanoi soon, visiting Vietnam, and that's one of the topics. So I will pay close attention, and we'll talk about deforestation in Cambodia maybe next week, so that way we are aware of what is the U.S. government going to do regarding climate change and regarding environmental in Southeast Asia. So thank you, Kathy, and thank you, Bong Sita, for being here today. I appreciate it that you both here and give up your time to let me know how you feel at our audience, and also teach our audience a little bit of Cambodia. So thank you so much for being here today, and you both are welcome back anytime, and thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, thank you for having us here. It's a pleasure.
Thank you, Kathy, and thank you, Bong.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you, our audience, for being here today. I appreciate that you stay all the way till the end. It's over an hour now, and listen to us. And like I said, our Vice President, Kamala Harris, she is in Southeast Asia. She is going to be in Hanoi to talk about deforestation in Cambodia, because the reason they're talking about that, because Vietnam is the largest supplier of furniture to the world. So that furniture, that wood is coming from somewhere. It came from Cambodia, and it's continued to be flowing out of Cambodia to Vietnam. So I will continue to monitor, and then we'll talk about that next week. Hopefully, I know she's probably visiting soon. I just didn't get a date, but soon. So we'll talk about more about environmental impact in Cambodia. Both of our audience indicated we all welcome development. Cambodia was out of the war over 40 years ago, and we developed, but at the same time, developed where not considered of people, not considered of environmental, and that is a very big impact to people in Cambodia. So thank you so much for being here today, and I will see you next week. Thank you. Bye.